Welcome to Small and Supercharged Podmas, a series of chatty podcasts that were first broadcast as lives in the Small and Supercharged Facebook group on the run-up to Christmas. Each short podcast features a member of the mastermind group talking all about what they have got going on this Christmas. Listen, enjoy, screenshot, share to stories and share your support of these amazing small businesses. And equally, if you want to catch up with some lives, we have got them running all throughout December over in the free Small and Supercharged Facebook group. Just search Small and Supercharged and you will find the Burgundy group. I hope you love them. Today we are joined by the fabulous, very talented and brilliant. What colour hair have you got at the moment?
Curly pink hair.
You were pink the other week, weren't you?
Yeah.
Odette, who is the lady behind Nouvelle Habit. I saw Odette, God, was it 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
Don't know, 3 weeks maybe, yeah.
3 weeks ago. Why can I not remember any information? 3 weeks ago at the Bennett's Willow Barn social sessions event with all the riding skirts. And I have to say, it did absolutely crack me up when I was outside with two of the ladies and Kat walked past one of your skirts.
I know, she strutted around all day in that skirt actually, and she actually ended up taking that one home. So that one actually was one of the walking skirts. So hopefully the new product that is going to be coming out early next year, really. She actually, I sent her home with that to start field testing. So I'm really excitingly at that point where I am now starting to get the pattern graded, which is changing it from just one size, my size, into all the other different sizes so that I can then send them out to various different people that are going to use them for various different jobs. And then we can get them field tested to make sure that they are fit for purpose before I release them as a product. I'm really vigorous when it comes to my testing. Same with the riding skirts. I sent to 10 different riders all over the UK, different sizes, different disciplines, and they had them for 6 months and were giving me constant feedback to make sure that when I released the product that we'd kind of got rid of any issues or anything that people didn't like, or added any features that they felt were necessary. And so with the walking skirt, it will be the same process. So yeah, they're just starting to get sent to people now. So hopefully, early next year, all being well, the product will be able to be released.
We've just had Di join us actually, who I know, I have seen her twirling in your riding skirt, I want to say this morning, but she's just said, I'm wearing my secret weapon, just about to ride in it, which I assume is your riding skirt.
It is. So actually, and Di is involved in some more testing. So her secret weapon is a wool-lined riding skirt. So rather than the original Moorland has got cotton, this one that Di is testing for me has got boiled wool. So it's 100% wool, boiled wool on the inside, and then the wax cotton on the outside. So just adding that extra warmth and like Di and I both suffer with chilblains, and so the original one I made, to help combat that. But some of us get them so severely that you need more. And so I was playing around with doing it for myself. And then again, wanted to get some other people testing it, and knew that Di suffered, and also knew that she's an addict to my skirts and wanted a navy. So I thought it was the perfect opportunity to get her a navy one and get her out testing. So that again is another project that hopefully all being well, and Di has been giving me feedback and has said that it's working and that it's comfortable and doing what it should do. So I'm really hoping that that I can release that as well too.
I mean, she actually just said, I haven't taken it off bar work since it arrived. Odette, tell us about you and your business.
So I set up Nouvelle Habit just over a year ago, just after the whole COVID pandemic started. I've been working on a business for about 5 or 6 years. So I'm a horse rider myself, ridden horses my whole life, owned horses, worked as a riding instructor and behavioural problem in horses, and suffered with chilblains, was looking for a product that I could wear, not just out hacking, that I could really school my horses, I could jump my horses, I could lunge my horses, that was easy and comfortable to use, and found that there wasn't really anything. There were products that I could use for certain disciplines or at certain times. And so I actually had a friend who said, why don't you make a riding skirt? And I thought, yeah, sure, that can't be that difficult. And had very little, I had done traditional upholstery, but I hadn't was not a seamstress. So then I went down this rabbit hole of learning how to make clothes and make patterns and take your designs from your head into real life. And so I worked with a pattern tutor, lady called Joy, and we spent 5 or 6 years designing riding skirts. And so I did 13 different designs and prototypes, was testing them all with myself on my horse. You know, I'd make one up, go out and ride the next day and go, oh, damn it, that doesn't work, or this bit's not right, back to the drawing board. How do we solve that problem? How do we make it work better? And so, yeah, a year and a half ago, it was the push to release the product and to start the business. And so they are made out of wax cotton. They are split at the front and the back, so they're designed for stride, not side saddle. At the back, they have an underskirt that sits over the back of the saddle. So as the skirt splits at the back, no water can come in. At the front, they have a button that does up across the horse's wither. So again, that locks it at the front, stopping any water coming in from there. So your saddle and your nomna will stay completely dry. They've got little lead weights on the edge in some reflective piping so that it keeps it really stable. You've got leg straps, you've got pockets, you've got a high waist that's going to give you a little bit of lower back support, also keep your kidneys warm, which is an important bit of you. And then, as I said, they are lined. The original one, which is what's available at the moment, is lined with cotton and then has a wax cotton facing at the bottom, which is a little bit of wax cotton on the inside for when you're walking around, when you're kicking up mud. It means that you can still clean everything that needs to be done with some warm water. And then the great thing about wax cotton is that you can re-waterproof it. So they are they're an investment piece. I hand make them all to order, but they are designed to last your lifetime. Each skirt also goes from one size, so it has 2 sizes per skirt. So for me, I fluctuate a little bit, especially this time of year as we're heading into Christmas. I'm quite indulgent with my food. So I really wanted to have it so that it would fit over, you're wearing it over your clothes anyway, it's an overgarment. So I wanted it to fit, even if you put on a few pounds, it's adjustable and is gonna look after you. I found when I started riding in them, when I started making them, riding them, I was like, God, I ride better. I sit up better because I felt better. I kind of felt like you can't slouch when you're in this beautiful thing, And so I held myself better, and I did genuinely just feel a bit better in them, which I think is important, because we all can feel a bit crap. And actually, it's the same as when you get dressed up to go out for a dinner party or get invited to a black tie event, and you think, oh, it's an opportunity, and you hold yourself better, and why not, give yourself that feeling of just feeling a bit nicer. And I think, with the weight, the way I kind of tried to design it was that by having this wide waistband that's high at the back, and where it sort of flares off your hip, it means that you've got a really wide area to take the weight, rather than having a narrow band, which would then sort of put or concentrate all that weight into one area. And then obviously when you're sat on the horse, it's even lighter, because when you're sat down, and then the weight of it actually just spreads around you. So I've actually, more products, I've got so many new things that I've been working on. So another one that's is going to be available once I get it up on the website is I've actually done one. So I had a lady that asked me, she rides in the Highlands, if I could do one that had sheepskin inside. So we're taking that to like the full level of absolute warmth, luxury, and weight, because adding in whole skins. And so I have got one with me.
Let's have a look.
This one's got yellow bumblebees inside as well, so not all of it is sheepskin, because that's excessive and would just be too heavy. So the sheepskin is it would just sit just over the thighs, basically, so where it's kind of needed.
Great idea. And the perfect, as you're saying, for people who either are in very, very cold places.
And the thing is, we're so bad as horse riders, and Di will back me up on this. We do so much for our horses. It's a little bit cold and it's raining. Oh, let's get out the fleeced, exercise sheet for him, and we'll put him under the solarium when he gets back, and we'll do this, and we really care for them. For us, you know, we're in the same conditions, but we'll be fine. And you know, it takes a toll. And we, you know, when we're young, yes, you can get away with it, but when you do it over and over again, it has an effect on our body, the same as it does on the horses. You know, if you don't want to be riddled with arthritis, treat yourself as nicely as you do with your horses.
Yeah. But the other good thing as well about your products is that it protects the saddle as well.
Yeah, exactly. And again, you know, we spend a lot of money on saddles. You know, everything in our sport is expensive. And generally because, you know, it's handcrafted, it's, you know, it's high end, it's handcrafted, it's loved, it's tailored, it's, you know, made out of magic, really, including the horses. So, you know, it's worth looking after it. And I mean, you know, you speak to the side saddle community, and I mean, their saddles are just insane amounts of money. And I mean, they will not ride in the rain, because if their saddles get wet, it's, you know, the end of play, really. And so, yeah, I think, you know, it's important that we look after our kit, really.
So talk to us about the range that you currently do.
So, I mean, they're all handmade to order. So in some way, they're all bespoke. But how I work it is on the website, you can have your standard colour options. So I have 4 outer wax cottons. So I have the French mustard, which is like a dark mustard colour. You've got a forest green, which is kind of like that classic barber green. Then you've got a navy, and then you've got a vintage brown, which is quite sort of chestnutty, that sort of dark chestnutty brown. So you can pick any of those colours, and then you've got your standard lining colours, which is a chocolate, green, wine, and navy. And then, so the yoke, which is the bit I keep talking about as the waistband, is referred to as a yoke. That bit you can choose, which I have got with me, you can choose either this one, which is the red rose design, or you can have it in the blue rose.
Very nice.
You then pair that up, so you could have that with then plain navy, or the wine, the chocolate, or the green. So they're like the standard ones I have, and so I have big rolls of those fabrics. But because I handmade them all, I then also offer people to have a bespoke. So like with the bumblebees, or I've got another one here. This is the navy.
Oh, I've got that. I love that.
Any panel on the inside can be a fabric. If you wanted every panel to be different, you can. And so the way I do the bespoke is I say that if your fabric is £10 per metre or less, then there's no extra charge, because it costs the same for me to make the others. So just the time difference, obviously we need to discuss which fabrics. I need to order it, wait for the fabric, so it takes slightly longer. If you have your own fabric that you wanted to use inside, again, that would be no extra cost. You just send the fabric to me and we'd use it. Or you can go fancier and you know, and splash out and have whatever you want. And so some people will pick, say, my navy plain lining, but then would just have the yoke in a really special fabric, or they want to have the yoke and the lining separate, or like that rose one, they have it all in one colour. And I've had all sorts of different variations, and I love doing it, because for me it's like, you know, you used to get my dad has shirts that and jackets and stuff that, you know, you'd see him at a business meeting, say, and he looks very smart, but then you go out for dinner later on and he opens his jacket and it's got, you know, flash of pink silk lining, or takes it off and actually the whole of the back of his white shirt is patchwork. And you know, just think, I love the idea of people being able to add their personality and their flair to the inside, which is actually very personal, because when you're riding in it, hardly anyone's going to see that. You know, maybe when you pop it up, you know, fold it back to do up your girth, it might flash a little bit of something, but otherwise it really is, it's kind of just for you. And so I think it's quite nice for people to have a bit of fun and have their personality. Or I had someone that it was their grandmother's fabric. And so we lined the inside with that, and she said, you know, and now my grandma's riding with me. And you know, there's so many elements that can be involved in it that isn't just about it having a bit of fun. It can be really sentimental as well.
I love that. That's such a cool thing. I guess that's the kind of wax has got a lovely, like, nostalgic smell, hasn't it?
It does have a bit of a smell to it, yeah. I find, so when it comes off the roll, it doesn't really have that smell. What I find is, weirdly, it's when you start using it, so when they start getting wet and dry, that's when the smell seems to come from them. And I don't know, I presume it's the actual wax is releasing some sort of scent as it's being used, because obviously with the wax, as you sort of crumple it and use it, it gets those sort of veins, and it kind of changes colour as the wax sort of lifts out. And so that's when I think the smell starts to get released. So yeah, they do develop that kind of nostalgic smell.
I love that smell, I have to say. I love the smell of wax jackets and that kind of leather and wax. It's like such a traditional horsey smell, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just so country, isn't it? I just and if you've been in that world, even if just maybe going riding a couple of times as a kid and growing up, those smells really stay with you.
Definitely. Now, you said before that they would last you a lifetime.
Yeah, so I mean, I say it will last a lifetime. Obviously, things do break, especially with being horse riders. We fall off. It happens. You can deny it to yourself, but unfortunately, it does happen. And so one of the things I offer is a repair system. So if you were to come off and it was to break, or so Di very naughtily ripped one of hers, which we still haven't repaired yet, but I haven't forgotten about it. If they get snagged on something, so Di was doing up hay nets in a hay net filler, and it got caught on a metal spike sort of thing, and so it's got a little rip in it. So there's various. The best thing is contact me. We then would discuss what needs to be repaired, how the cost of a repair, and then if the skirt is sort of deemed as not fit to being repaired because of the cost of it, it's worth just having a new one. What you do is send it back to me. I then take off a percentage from a new skirt. You then get a brand new skirt. I then have the old broken one. I then, in my own time, invest in repairing that. I then will sell that as a second skirt at a much lower price. So the idea being that they just keep circulating. At no point do I want them to be thrown away because they're broken. And then we're sort of opening up the market as well for people that can't afford maybe a brand new one, that there are other options, that there are, used ones that are still perfectly good, but one panel has got way more wax on it than the other, or the shade is slightly different, but functionality wise, it's still very much the same. And then again, with sort of my materials and things like that, I've made sure that I'm investing in materials that are up to standard really, and that have been tested, and that have got a really long life. And then again with the wax cotton, one of the reasons, there's lots of reasons I picked it, but one of the reasons I picked it is the fact that you can re-waterproof it. So I found with a lot of other waterproof materials, you buy a coat and it says it's the most waterproof coat we've ever made, and it is for X amount of years, 5 years, 10 years if you're lucky, but then it's not. And then you forever spend trying to put it in a washing machine and add some new fang-dangled waterproofing thing.
Yeah,
and it doesn't work. And then it, you discard it because it doesn't work. So it's annoying. Whereas with the wax cotton, all you have to do, little pot of wax dressing, you pop it in the hot water, heat it up. You then use a cloth to rub it into your wax, and you're good to go. And that is going to last you over and over and over and over again. There is at no point that a wax cotton is not re-waxable. It doesn't, it just never happens. The only thing with wax cotton that does happen is if you don't re-wax it and you let it get very dry, then the fabric can become brittle. So right. That I always say to people, just look after it like you would your saddle. Leather's the same. If we let it get wet dry, it starts to crack. And once it's cracked, there's no going back. Whereas, if you take a little bit of care and you balm it every so often, or, give it a good oil, that actually doing that once every 6 months, you don't have to do it lots, but just once every 6 months before you put it away, maybe just give it a little bit of R&R, and it's just going to keep going and going and going for you.
That's so cool. And they're quite easy to look after, aren't they? If you go out for a ride and you get covered in mud, sponge it off.
Hose it down. If it's wet mud, just get that hose right on it, hose it down. I mean, it's waterproof, so the outside, you can hose it down if it's wet mud and it will come straight off. Obviously, your inside, your cotton is not, so don't hose that down. That would be a bad idea. Take ages to dry. But where the wax cotton is, just wipe it off with warm water and sponge. No soap. Don't use any cleaning soaps or fairy liquid or anything, because all that's going to do is rip out the wax out of the cotton, and then you're going to have to re-wax it more. So it's not going to damage it, but you're going to have to put a lot more work into re-waxing it. And I'm lazy, so the easier I can keep it, the better, really. Top tip if you're re-waxing: so re-wax it all, and then it will look quite patchy, because some areas where you will have put more wax and some areas it will be a bit thinner. Get a hairdryer and hair dry your wax garment, coat, anything. I mean, this applies for any wax cotton garment. Hair dryer, and then it just evens all the wax out and makes it look like it's brand new again.
I did not know that. That's the thing about these sessions. We always learn something.
So if it was a Christmas gift, you've missed that one. But if you place an order, I'm still here. I'm still making. But it will be more likely to come early New Year. So you can still place orders, but just not for Christmas. But yeah, have gift vouchers that are available. So and they range from all different prices, so you've not got to spend hundreds of pounds. You can buy quite small ones. If someone's saving up to get a skirt, you could buy them a £20 gift voucher, and that will go towards their purchase, and lots of family members could do it, and they can use all the gift vouchers clubbed together as well. So it's like little coupons really to go towards one. And then the other little product which has just come out recently are the ear warmers.
Very cool.
So these go into your riding hat to keep your ears warm. So these were made these are made basically from the leftover material that's from the skirts. So I don't make these, I don't cut material just for these. These are only made from the leftover material made from the skirts, being that I really don't like waste. And so I wanted to make something that was functional and useful for us riders still, but was using up the leftover material. And so I also, 10% of the sales from these goes towards a company called 9 Trees, who are a charity in the UK that are planting trees. So every 12 sets of these I sell, I plant 1 tree in the UK. So that's it's cool. A little bit of giving back to our country. So they're on the website, and there's a stock of them. So they've just come out, so there's plenty of stock. And again, you can get them in the mustard, the green, navy, and brown. So if someone's already got a skirt and you think they might, they could have a pair that matched it, if you wanted. And then again, because of the sheepskin skirts, it's also possible to do super fluffy ear warmers. So
very cool.
They're not on the website, but if someone wanted ones, and I'm going to start making them, because again, when you have a sheepskin, you have this whole skin, and obviously the bits that I use for the skirt, I get left with a load. And again, it's beautiful material, and so we're going to have some sheepskin ones, which are super fluffy. I mean, I don't think you could ride in them if you're having a lesson, because they are like ear muffs more than it's a bit, the sound quality is definitely hampered by that. Or maybe, if you've got a riding instructor who shouts a lot, then these would be perfect.
They'd be perfect, yeah, block it out.
Tone them out a little bit.
Obviously mentioned that you have a new product that is currently being field tested. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the walking skirt is the one that is going to be coming out, hopefully. And so that kind of came around in the fact that I sadly lost both my horses last year. And so I started walking a lot more. And I was like, waterproof trousers just suck, really. Yeah, on and off. Wellies, boots with lots of laces, awkwardly standing in car parks, trying to get them on or off because you want to get in the car, but it's still raining. And I thought, well, I've already tackled one. Surely it can't be that difficult. If you ever have that thought, it is difficult. It's never that easy. I'm learning this, that when I go, surely it can't be that difficult. So the walking skirt I've been working on for the last sort of year. And so it looks very similar to the riding skirt when you're off a horse, and it has the same wide waistband, the same raised back, same double buckle fastenings. It goes up 2 sizes per skirt for the same principle that it is an overgarment. So in the summer you might be popping it over, just a pair of thin leggings, whereas in the winter you might be popping it over leggings, jogging bottoms, and more jogging bottoms.
All the layers.
Yeah, exactly, all the layers. But in the same principle that it has a wraparound design, so that it's easy to take on and off. So with the walking skirts, because of your fabric of your clothing, they have this sort of silky lining.
Right.
Okay. So it's a similar colour to the wine, but is a silky material.
I get you. So it slides over your legs easier.
Slides over your legs, yeah. Because what I found when I was using the cotton was that if you had certain materials on, it then grabbed and then it kind of rode up.
I get you.
So the waistband can be a cotton, but the inside needs to be a sort of silky material.
That makes sense.
So you've got double buckles.
And they're leather, aren't they?
Yeah, so these are leather. So I buy the leather down the road in Cheddar. So I buy whole hides. And then I have the buckle design as a design that I did myself. And then I have it laser cut in Bristol.
Oh, wow.
And so then I do the hand finishing. So the buckle goes around like that.
So lovely.
Yeah, and then you've got your high waistband.
So it's great because I know you've got it over a gilet there, but that's brilliant as well because you can have it over quite a few clothes, but then put a bigger jacket over the top, and you're not going to get that bare patch. If you've got a short coat and trousers, you can sometimes get a bit of a back exposure.
So they've all got this hanger. So when you then, get home, you've got pockets as well.
Pockets are just the dream in everything, I find.
So, and they're all boiled wool, so they stay really warm. So that they're and again, I was using fleece originally, but I try to avoid materials that are sort of not organic or sort of natural, really, because the fleece again just isn't hard wearing enough. Whereas boiled wool, is going to last. The last thing you want to do is your skirt to last, but you've got holes in your pockets. So, trying to make sure that all of the elements have got the same length life.
Yeah.
So that not one element is then going to be being lost. But yeah, so when you get back from your walk, you just simply take that off and then use your hanger and hang it up next to your boots or your coats or whatever and let it drip dry. And then grab it, pop it back on again, and off you go, out the door. So really simple sort of an ease, with use. But because the riding skirt has so many elements the walking skirt didn't need, like the split, the extra underskirt, and the riding skirt needs so much more fabric that it's a lot heavier. It's just unnecessary, really. So with the walking skirt, it's sort of stripped back, but has a very similar design, but has less function than the riding skirt needed. The only other thing that I can't show you as such is that with the walking skirt, it has magnets in it. So the fold that comes over has got a magnet on top. The bit that it's going onto has got lots of little bits of metal in it, so that as you walk it breaks, but it always wants to close. And so when it's windy as well, it's kind of trying to keep it there, because what I wanted to make sure was that obviously when it's rainy, it tends to be a little bit windy, and obviously with the wrap around, if it blows open, I was finding the water was still tracking in. So by just adding those magnets and getting a little bit technical with it, just keeps it a little bit more stable. And so that's where the field testing is really important, is making sure that the magnet strength is the right strength, that the metal bits are in the right placement, and just that fine tuning of those elements to make sure that that it's okay. Because obviously if I put too strong a magnet in, then you have that sort of comedy sketch that you walk past a car and your skirt sticks to it, or climbing over a metal gate and you're having to wrestle the skirt off it.
Yes, God, yes.
Yeah, these things that you suddenly think of are good ideas versus bad ideas, pros and cons and all that.
I love that.
if anyone does have any questions and they watch this back later on, please do contact me. I'm happy to answer any questions, or if you've got any ideas about something that you would like, especially, with the bespoke skirts, even if it is changing the outside of the wax cotton colours and stuff like that, everything is possible. It just obviously takes a little bit of time for just looking into it, sourcing stuff. But I'm always up for it. I'm always up for trying, because that's kind of the beauty of it. And the beauty of hand making them all myself means that we can do that. We can have fun with it. So please contact me. And the Facebook Messenger is rubbish. I don't get notifications. Sorry, Facebook. So Instagram is really good. You can contact me via the messaging system there, or you can message me via email. And if you go to my website, my email and my telephone number is there. So do give me a ring or an email, however you want to contact me. So the handles on social media, both Facebook and Instagram, are Nouvelle Habit, and then the website is www.nouvellehabit.co.uk.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us today, Odette. It's been brilliant.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Ria.
No problem at all. Take care. See you soon.